Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly blog where, as the title suggests, I play with, well, a straight bat. Let's focus on this week's topic, and it is on crumbling institutions. In Indian politics, where you stand depends on where you sit. The latest instance of this truism is being provided in the state of Rajasthan, where the chubby-faced genial Rajasthan governor Kalraj Mishra is in the eye of a storm. In 1998, Mr. Mishra was part of a BJP delegation that went on a dharna to protest the dismissal of the Kalyan Singh government in UP by the then governor Ramesh Bhandari. Now, it's the Congress MLAs who've staged a sit-in protest at the lawns of the Jaipur Raj Bhavan, where Mr. Mishra is Rajyapal or governor. Why? Because Mr. Mishra for the longest time was refusing the demand made by the Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot for an urgent assembly session. Now he's agreed to allow a session to take place, but a 21-day notice has to be given. What does that mean? It means that for the next 21 days, Rajasthan's MLAs will be locked up in hotels to prevent poaching. 21 days becomes an open invite in a way for horse trading to take place. It would seem to me that another Congress government could well be toppled, and that Mr. Mishra's allegiance at the moment seems primarily to the centre and not to the constitution. Mr. Mishra, though, is not the only governor in recent times to court controversy. In 2017, Mridula Sinha in Goa and Najma Heptulla in Manipur had sworn in BJP-led governments, even though the BJP was not the single largest party in the elections there. In 2018 in Karnataka, Vajubhai Vala, the former state BJP president, and the Karnataka governor swore in B.S. Yediyurappa, even though he wasn't sure of the numbers. The government lasted just 48 hours. And then, of course, in 2019, you had Bhagat Singh Koshyari, who at the crack of dawn decided to swear in Devendra Fadnavis in Maharashtra. Again, that government lasted just for a week. What do all these worthy governors have in common? Well, they've all been members at some stage or the other of the BJP's Margdarshak Mandal. The Raj Bhavan has become a retirement home. The only defense, or the best defense that one finds for these partisan acts of governors, is to engage in brazen whataboutery. What about when the Congress was in power? We are only following the traditions of the Congress party, which routinely misuse the governor's office. In a sense, when I hear this argument, it only confirms my belief that we are seeing the Congressification of the BJP. How a self-proclaimed party with a difference is now a party of absolute power. This much hyped tagline, in fact, of party with a difference, was not just about providing a political alternative to the Congress, but it was meant to provide an alternative political culture. This was the value-based politics that the BJP kept speaking about during the Vajpayee-Advani era. The fact, though, is that this value-based politics has been replaced by the politics of high value, where political machinations have a price tag attached. Take, for example, the way the enforcement directorate in the middle of this Rajasthan crisis has summoned Ashok Gehlot's brother in a fertilizer scam dating back to 2007. Now, the ED is often accused in these times of being the BJP's closest ally, a preferred weapon of political vendetta used to harass and intimidate your political rivals. That a decade-old case is being revived in the midst of political turmoil in Rajasthan is actually no coincidence. It is designed to frighten and bully opponents into submission. Here too, the best counter argument one hears is that, remember what the Congress did, how they used to misuse state agencies? My question is, if the CBI was indeed a caged parrot as it was during the Congress rule, does the ED have to now become a Rottweiler when the BJP is in power? What again happened to the party with a difference? Examine also the allegations that are being made of large amounts of money that are being offered for MLAs to switch sides in Rajasthan. Now, even if these amounts at the moment are conjecture, the lure of ministerial perks is definitely a cause for defections. Be it Goa, Manipur, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, those who switch sides are always amply rewarded. The addiction to money power was seen to be the root of the Congress's decline, and a contrast was sought to be drawn with the more austere lifestyle of BJP leaders. The truth is that as the BJP induces defections, once again the party with a different stag no longer stands. Truth also is that as the BJP has journeyed from being an effective party of opposition to becoming a party of power, any vestige of idealism lies compromised in this quest for total supremacy. Then be it parliament, state assemblies, municipal corporations, there are a growing number of BJP conquests that are actually of former congresspersons who are simply blowing with the saffron wind. You can take the Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. He was a congressman for a decade before he joined the BJP. The Goa Deputy Chief Minister Chandrakant Kavlekar won 4 consecutive terms on a Congress ticket, then switched to the BJP. The Karnataka cabinet has at least 10 ministers who were once in the Congress. Half the ministers in Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government in Madhya Pradesh are former congressmen. Assam's all-powerful minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma was a long-serving congressman. Arunachal's chief minister Pema Khandu is another congressman who has found sanctuary in the BJP. The list is endless. At one level, this suggests an implosion within the Congress, a stark reflection of a party in disarray with a weakened leadership that simply cannot stem the outflow. But at another level, it also exposes a certain predatory, immoral instinct within the new BJP that seeks to use every conceivable opportunity to decimate its opponents. In the process, the party's once highly disciplined structure is now at the risk, honestly, of what I call ideological incoherence. When you reward opportunism and downgrade ethical behavior, you create potential flashpoints for the future. Already one hears murmurs of disagreement on the ground at the manner in which defectors are openly welcomed. But obviously the rank and file of the BJP is too scared at the moment to express these fears openly. The RSS may still project Hindutva nationalism as its badge of distinctiveness, but its supervisory control over its political wing is increasingly tempered by the harsh reality of power politics. Where once considerable moral authority vested in the RSS Sarsanchalak, now he is clearly a secondary player to the dominance of the political executive in this Modi-Shah era. Moreover, the institutional takeover is almost complete. An election commissioner who dissents is packed off to some insignificant post in Malina, denied the right to become chief election commissioner. A Supreme Court Chief Justice is nominated to the Rajya Sabha within months of his retirement, even as another judge hails the Prime Minister as a versatile genius, a sitting judge of the court. Parliament is reduced to a notice board, as we saw in the way in which Article 370 was scrapped, and a large section of the media is performing the role of an unabashed cheerleader. Meanwhile, the BJP's footprint simply continues to expand. It was Madhya Pradesh yesterday where a government was toppled. It could well be Rajasthan today. Who knows which opposition rules state tomorrow. And the fact is that the checks and balances that are required in a democracy have gone missing. Just one final postscript. All these opulent Raj Bhavans that are there across the country, they're all colonial relics, grand buildings that were built for the colonial rulers of this country. They're maintained today at great expense, at taxpayers' money, your and my money. I ask you a question. Do we really need this imperial grandeur where governors are then going to be simply rubber stamps to be used by the center to engage in this blatant power play? I have a better idea. Why not convert all these Raj Bhavans into COVID care centers. As I said, I'm playing with a straight bat. Thanks for watching.